Hi, this is your friend Suna Senman, and talking about the Trump impeachment period that we are in right now, and this whole phenomena of Trump itself. First of all, I want to remind you that you are a blessed being and that all of us are blessed beings, even when we forget that we're that and we bring in distortions and debris and that could create conflicts and trauma. That's what I'm going to say. So I don't think anybody should really be surprised about what's going on. Um, Trump is a TV reality show character, or star, I guess is how he really wants to be seen. And he is focused on getting attention, popularity, making a show. So that's where his focus is. And he's just using the stage of the presidency to do that at this time. So don't blame him. He is doing what he intends to do. And I think it's up to the rest of us to really look at what is democracy and what we want in our government and to discover that. Marianne Williamson just spoke in a recent message on her campaign. She's campaigning for presidency. You can look at marianne2020.com. She said that in the Jewish tradition, they understand that each generation needs to discover God. They can receive teachings and wisdoms and traditions, everything else, but to really discover God, they had to do that themselves. And the same goes for democracy. Each generation must discover what democracy is. We can study what the Constitution is, the history of the Founding Fathers. We can study and take on traditions. Yet, we really need to discover what democracy is for us in our generation, and to put our block on the building, the foundation that came before us, as we build this democracy even greater and greater. So this is an opportunity, and Trump is serving a purpose here in awakening us to the need to do so. So this is a time when each one of us takes responsibility. One thing that I've noticed is there's a lot of finger pointing. I really see that in his Twitters. And every time he points a finger and accuses someone for doing this and that, I recognize that there are three fingers pointing back at him. And we all do that. We see in others what are characteristics within ourselves. So that's why I take the stance that whatever comes out of my mouth hits my ears first, and therefore is for me first. And if we could see every Twitter that way, every statement that way, and really take responsibility for ourselves, because that's the only person that you have the power to change, the power to create the character that you want to be. And instead of reacting and retaliating and getting into the same level of negativity and lower energies, use that to really as input of seeing things that you may want to take notice of, making some sort of development in yourself, how you would really like to be yourself. And perhaps you may see some aspects of yourself that you weren't aware of, and that made you, that now that you're aware of, you can actually do something about. You can make changes. You can't change anything you can't see. So I also noticed that there is such a desperation. It's a fear. So there's a desperation to hide information and to not let things come out. I mean, this whole thing about, from what I've read, Trump saying, oh, don't share any information or documentation. This hiding thing is a fear. Is a fear because you know something's wrong. If you feel you have to hide it, you know it's wrong, right? But once you take it forth, bring it forth, you can actually make the shifts and the changes that are necessary. If something's wrong, it's like if something's not working in a mechanical thing, in the car, for example, you recognize that something's not working there. You open the hood, you look inside, you see what's wrong, and then you can fix it. And the same thing goes for everything in life. So hiding information is just delaying the correction and really being and doing what you truly want. I mean, clearly, Trump's energies are completely invested in his glory and his popularity, or I don't know, his somehow getting himself seen. He feels unseen. That's why he has these huge buildings and he does these TV shows and he has to be president, and he has this underlying thing that he's not seen, that he's not big enough yet. So that is a distortion. He is a beautiful light as he is. And once he realizes that, he won't need to do these extravagant, manipulative type of things. He just needs to see the light that he is and the beauty that he is and just be that. And that is he's being a beautiful demonstration for all of us to recognize and remember that we are perfect in ourselves. We are a unique being that has skills and interests and abilities that contribute to society, and that we just need to be who we are. And then there doesn't need to be a fight or a conflict to be something that we think we need to be and that we're not. So I also noticed that Google owns a lot of the communications, Facebook, Twitter, and I don't know what's behind their motivation. But there's some reason why they are also cutting off communication. I've noticed that some people who are channeling some higher beings like Jesus are kind of being cut out of Facebook. And it's again this hiding from the what really is. And it's a delay. It's only a delay in correction coming forth and coming about. So once correction comes about, then we can really live. We can live in peace and joy and harmony, and pursuing our interests. So when the man that's sitting in the White House is so focused, totally 100% focused on his own image and his own trying to make himself seen as big as he can, he doesn't really have the bandwidth or the energy to be focused on what's the people need. And some people are kind of riding on this synergy. It's this idol mentality that they have this hero that is working for them, and therefore they're saved and they're a hero too. But it's writing. It's not really living who you are. So we each one of us in a true democracy needs to make decisions for ourselves, needs to take responsibility to contribute to society and to care for our own health and happiness as well. So that may come in many different forms, and we can all have our different ideas about it. We can discuss our ideas, and that's what democracy is about, is allowing each voice to be heard. So when voices and freedom of speech are impinged upon, then we can't have democracy. And I think Google has gotten involved in banning some Twitter accounts that have any type of revealing of what's going on with Trump and the administration. So I'm just letting you know that. I experienced a little something today, and I also know that the HeartNet, the genuineness of who we are, and the spirit of divine beings that we are, will always be communicating. And that can never be suppressed, because what source, what God has created, nothing cannot be destroyed. So it's an exciting time. It's a time when we can all start reflecting on who we are, what we are building, what we want to build. Be brave to face yourself. I have the Freedom Center here in Sweden, where we give a space that you can have the courage to face yourself by being in nature and being in a beautiful, just simple environment. And that this is a time when, as each one of us remembers the light and the beauty of who we are, the blessed beings that we are, we can start acting that way. Even Donald Trump. My heart goes out to him. I know it must be extremely painful to constantly feeling the need to be able to show yourself, to feel big enough. And I think we need compassion and forgiveness, and give the space for true seeing to come forth. And therefore, we're able to make the corrections and to really be who we truly are. Go forth in this day with blessings. Choose love. Choose compassion. Choose forgiveness, while standing up for what is truth and what is right. And be the blessed being that you are.